Roman Catholics and Catholics are the false church. And if you're a true King James Bible believer, Christian, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And truly born again and saved. Mel Gibson is a Catholic. Jim Caviezel is a Catholic. And almost everybody on this set was Catholics. I want to show you what happens when you try to portray Jesus as this. Now, wouldn't you think if you got struck by lightning, don't you think God was trying to tell you, hey, don't do this? Well, what I'm about to show you is crazy and very, very, very bad. And it's sad because every day we wake up as another day of grace. And I pray that all who watch this that are Catholic come out of this religious false church. All right, here we go. Listen.
Jim himself would later admit that they all knew something else was going on. Something very strange, out of the ordinary, was happening. Stories began to circulate about quiet moments of reverence on set, about people breaking into tears during rehearsals, about a kind of spiritual force. And as cameras finally began to roll, it became clear that they were not alone on that set. Strange happenings on the set. The cameras had barely begun to roll on the Passion of the Christ when the atmosphere shifted. This wasn't like any other movie set. What was supposed to be a rigorous spiritual production started turning into something else. Something that, to this day, many of the people involved still can't fully explain. And it all began with lightning.
You can sell this $5 spatula on Amazon and compete with hundreds of other spatula sellers. Or you can sell digital products on Amazon.
You see, when he took on the role, Jim Caviezel had automatically committed to a punishing physical performance. We're talking about full body makeup, hours on the cross, lashes, bruises, dirt, and blood. But what he and others on that set didn't expect was the sky turning against him. That's right. During one of the scenes on the hill of Golgotha, while standing on the cross, Jim was struck by a bolt of lightning. The crew froze. No one could believe it. The jolt threw him off balance, and he bit through his tongue and cheeks. According to the actor, the lightning strike eventually led to 2 heart surgeries, including an open heart surgery, along with lots of medication. Thankfully, the issue...
Now, don't you think you would have stopped when that happened? Don't you think that that was God telling him, don't do this? But they still didn't get it, and they still didn't understand, and they kept on and listened to what happens next.
She was eventually corrected years later. But what's even stranger is the fact that a few minutes after Jim was struck, lightning struck again. This time, it hit the assistant director, John Michelini, who had also been struck previously on the set, and he survived once again. Twice, on the same set, same shoot, same location. How many times does lightning strike twice in the same place? Scientists call it rare, but those on the set started calling it something else entirely. Some said it was a sign, others said it was a warning. But that wasn't the only unnatural thing that happened on set. Reports have it that members of the crew started speaking in hushed tones about a strange presence on set. Not something visible, but something they could feel. Some others described feeling dizzy, nauseated, or suddenly emotional during filming, but only during certain moments, like the whipping, the carrying of the cross, and the death scene. Even Mel Gibson, who is known for being composed.
Because if you're showing this false Jesus getting whipped and brutally tortured on set, all for Hollywood. Don't you think that made God upset? Don't you think that made Jesus Christ, who is our God, upset? You know, I've got days of grace if y'all are awake and alive. Get a King James Version Bible. Read it. Call out to God for salvation and a broken, contrite spirit. And ask for salvation, knowing that you have sinned against God and that you were a sinner. And the only way to be saved is to believe in his death, burial, and resurrection on the third day wholeheartedly, faithfully. And believing wholeheartedly, faithfully that he shed his blood on the cross for all of our sins. The Catholic Church is the false church.
And focused, was seen walking off set during these moments. Some said he was praying, while others said he was crying. The location of the shoot, Matera, Italy, isn't known for dramatic weather, but during filming, it became strangely unpredictable. Sunny mornings would turn into blackened skies by midday, only to return to clear, windless afternoons within minutes. A scene would begin under calm skies, and halfway through, powerful gusts would slam through the set, knocking over equipment. Sandstorms would appear from nowhere, and tents would be ripped from the ground. Sometimes, just as quickly as it started, there would be silence. At some point, it began to feel less like weather challenges and more like a warning.
Amen.
But let's talk about Jim Caviezel, the actor who took on the role of G.
Well, everybody, I just wanted to show you this because don't you think you would have stopped after you got struck by lightning? But they didn't because they're Catholics. Mel Gibson's a Catholic. Jim Caviezel's a Catholic. The assistant director is a Catholic. All this was Catholic driven. And the Catholics are the false church. People, wake up. If you're Catholic, get out of this false religion. Anyways, that's all I wanted to show y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.